Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. Hope you had a great weekend. Okay, beginning, sharp. The other thing that's been very, very much in focus in terms of security southwest of the country where we're operating from here is the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. You no doubt would have been reading news reports that it has become a menace, and the police have taken due notice. They've been meeting the commissioners of police in Ogun and Lagos, and for that matter, what's the other state, or your state? They've all come together and they say we should all go about our businesses without fear. Well, police always say that, and we'll be looking at how did we get to this stage? Because it was supposed to have been better. That is to say, it used to be bad, then it got better, and then suddenly here we are now. It wasn't helped any by the construction work going on along that axis that used to increase normal commute along that route to, up to 3-4 hours, a journey that at best safe driving should maybe take you 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes because of safe driving. Is now taking up somewhere in the region of 4 hours. So we'll talk about that today with people who keep an eye on these sort of things. And my first guest is Mr. Semio Okolawon. Mr. Okolawon is a journalist. He's a communications strategist, and he used to be the special advisor to the Osun State Governor, now editor-in-chief of NPO Reports. NPO being Nigerian Politics Online. NPO, but editor-in-chief of NPO Reports. Thank you very much, Semio, for coming on the
Thank
program.
you, Uncle Yori, for having me.
Really appreciate your making the time for us.
You.
And we will also be joined by our security and intelligence expert, Mr. Sheyi Adetayo. Quite frankly, intelligence doesn't always tell you what they're going to be doing. So he might be joining us in the studio. He also might be joining us via Zoom. We'll wait to see how it goes. But Sheyi, it's a very serious matter, a matter of great concern. A UI professor probably was the case that brought this whole thing to the fore, even as every single individual is equally as important when it comes to security. Yeah. But the fact that that professor and some students of a separate university were abducted. The professor is reported to have been released after paying a ransom. Talk me through this situation, Semio, because I know you have a special, sort of a keen interest on security in the Southwest.
Yeah, you see, that interest is not personal to me as an individual.
As a journalist.
Yeah, we should all be concerned. We should all be worried. And we should all join whatever effort that needs to be put in place to ensure that we come to an end, to see to an end to this shenanigan. You see, the case of the kidnap of Professor Adigun Agbaje, a very prominent professor, a prominent political scientist in Nigeria, someone who has been up there, was like what caught the attention of every other person to this menace along that route. But if you remember, things happening in this region of the country, I mean the southwest part of the country, where the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway stands as a very prominent route, is not just starting. We will only be deceiving ourselves to think that this is just something that's starting just yesterday. If we look at it, I mean, some few years back, even along the Ibadan-Ife highway, people had been kidnapped. There were cases of, along the Ilesha/Ekiti axis, there was also a professor who was also kidnapped sometimes about 2017. And there have been a number of cases like this. Yes, a professor is able, because of his network and all that, is able to put everybody on notice that, oh, come on, something is happening to you guys. If you are sleeping, you should stop your slumber. But we've been having this kind of cases all along, but without gaining this kind of traction. Now that we are getting to a point where people are being picked at will, and we know that kidnap cells, kidnap camps are already being set up along this route, then it calls on all of us to really wake up from our slumber and make sure that we put an end to this.
When you say kidnap cells or camps are being set up along the way, is this more extrapolation than anything else?
I don't think this is an extrapolation. You see, Uncle Yori, if you travel along the route, say Ibadan, Lagos, what actually do you think or do you know is happening 50 meters to the right, 50 meters to the left of the express? You are just driving. And except you have an issue to stay, maybe perhaps something happens to your car along the route, you don't actually know what exactly is happening. And you find out that most of the areas that you're talking about, the entire stretch of the journey you're talking about, most of them, except with the exception of certain parts of Ogun State that are now being taken up by new factories, industrial setups, and all that, you find out that, especially after Ogiri, you find out that the whole stretch is...
You're on your own.
You're on your own.
But for the love of God.
But for the love of God, none of us know what exactly is happening 50 meters to the right, 50 meters to the left.
But now the police say they've been ordered to come together, the commissioners of police in these 3 states, and fashion out an improved plan, because I don't think they would like us to say that they had no plan whatsoever for that place. So let me just put it discreetly as an improved plan. The Inspector General of Police reportedly is also interested. Are you optimistic? Because we keep on hearing about not having enough men in the police to do what they need to do globally. Yeah. Do you think?
Well, you see, one thing I know about security issues is that, you see, you don't actually expect security agencies to disclose 100% effort that they are making, things that they are doing to ensure that they tackle the insurgent or the kidnappers, whoever are the people behind these menace. But what I'm sure is that the security, the army, a combination of the effort of the Southwest Security Network called Amotekun, the local hunters and vigilantes and all that. I think this is the time for all the agencies to put resources together, put heads together to ensure that, look, that particular all-important route is secured. That is an economic route. You know the number of trucks, trailers that pass through that place every day. You know the number of vehicles, commercial vehicles, private vehicle owners that apply that route on a daily basis. And so you want to ask me, how do you feel when you start your journey from Bega and you are heading towards Ibadan? How do you feel when you can no longer say, look, you even want to catch a nap while your driver do the driving now? You can't even
anxiety is very high now.
You can't even do anything
anxiety
worthwhile.
Is very high now.
Within the period you are embarking on that journey. And God be with you should anything happen to your car.
Really?
So,
well,
this is the situation.
Even though nowadays we have AA, as we also have in other countries, that point about if your car should break down in the middle of nowhere, where in some other areas you can call the AA. I'm not sure. I think that's...
okay, let us just pray that nothing happens to you.
I mean,
because even the AA itself requires some security.
I mean, now I did say, our expert in security and intelligence, I couldn't even tell you if he was going to come on by remote or if he was going to come in person, because intelligence people don't like advertising all their emotions before they come on. Well, I'm happy to say that Sheyi Adetayo, Mr. Adetayo, is a security and intelligence expert. He has joined us in person. Good morning, Sheyi. But we just sort of made it a bit light there, but it's people have trepidation now. Lagos-Ibadan, it also serves all those going to Abeokuta.
That's the word, trepidation.
Yes, because they have diverted from the old Abeokuta road into the faster expressway. So even people going to Abeokuta, they make a connection at the Shagam complex. So the point that had just been made Semio was that nobody knows what's going on 50 meters in on one side, 50 meters in on the other side. And now all the security organizations are saying that they're having meetings, they're rescheduling, re-strategizing. Maybe address that point first, if you will, please. This whole matter about these robbers that are troubling us, these robbers that are troubling us on that particular highway, the authorities have no inclination whatsoever about them. Can that be the case? That is some of the, that is one thing that hopefully you can help us with.
Thank you so much. I think now, I've had quite a number of conversations with people in authority over what is going on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And what I expected that we should start seeing now is clearance, because I told them 50 meters both sides, start clearing. Though the issue was, they are private land. I said, let government do the first clearing, then inform the owners of the land. If you don't clear afterwards, we will take the land from you. It's an issue bordering on national security.
Yes.
You can't keep bushy places and you are holding onto the land. So 50 meters both sides, clear, so that people traveling can see from afar. And then it will be difficult for someone to actually move and intercept vehicles moving when the distance from where they can hide and where a fast-moving vehicle is. That's right. The first thing. And we have not seen that.
Did this idea come about in recent times, or has it been a long...
No, just about 4 or 5 days ago or so.
Since all of this started.
Yeah. I called and I spoke to those in authority that they first need to do that in the immediate. Second thing they need to do is that reach out to the communities. The local government chairman say, in Yoruba land, there is no ungoverned space. Because every inch of land is controlled by someone. There is a community. We call it Ileto, Abule, and I've forgotten what Ijebu used to call when you have small hamlets in the farm where there are people. So there are people in these areas. The first thing you need to do, get the local government chairman to invite all these people from around that corridor. Bring them into the meeting. It's an opportunity for government to employ at least two people from those communities into Amotekun intelligence unit of Amotekun. They don't need to wear uniform. Give them a crash program. What we need you to do is to provide information. These people are not just staying at 50 meters corridor. They take these people, take them into the interior part, moving from one community to another community for 5, 6, 7 days while they negotiate for ransom and collect.
With the screen that you spoke about, that 50 meters to the road that could have been cleared, that is a screen to them.
Yeah, it's a screen for attack. Yeah. However, after the attack, they still take these people into those communities. So what they do is, I say from the feedback from the victim, one, these people speak Yoruba fluently. They are northerners, but it shows that they've lived in Yoruba land for a very long time. So it means that they understand the environment. Secondly, the moment they hear that they are close to where people are settled, they divert. But there is no how they will leave traces. And there is no how you have a farm. I have a farm. If somebody enter my farm, and I get to the farm in the morning, I know that people have been here. I know where they came in from. I will know where they came in from. I know where they left from. And these are the informations that are very, very vital. Another thing I told her, I said, if you don't onboard the locals into your fight against those people, I give you 3 months, they will onboard the locals, forming a value chain into their own enterprise. And that's the reason why it became very difficult in Zamfara, in Kaduna, to be able to control it, because they have already formed a value chain where the locals are benefiting.
Into the local community.
Another thing that we're failing to understand is that as much as we're crying online, on TV, the locals there, they are not on Twitter, they are not on Facebook, they don't even watch TV, they don't even know that people are being attacked on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. So you need to take this information to them, because they have been seeing these people moving around. They don't know that they are actually committing atrocities on the highway. And they don't wear military uniforms when they are with these people. It's only when they are about to attack that they check into military uniform. So these are vital information, that things that we expect the government to begin to do now.
Now, did much of that surprise you?
No. You see, let's take it from the point he just made now. You see, I've had the opportunity of interacting
because with a few. You might not have heard it, but when I introduced him, Samuel is a journalist and a communication strategist.
I've had the opportunity of interacting and extracting certain information from some recent victims of kidnapping. And you see, they tell you from their experience that the period in which they were held captive, they were hearing voices of people, local farmers, in the environment where they were kept. People speaking Yoruba, and as a matter of fact, some of those people responsible for being chained, for keeping them there, interacting with the locals that we're talking about. That means there is a kind of relationship between some of these criminals and the people. But what we cannot determine 100% is, do the locals, do they really know the kind of businesses these people are engaged in? That is the nexus we have to find a way to understand. And so when you take information to, and you see, it starts from actions such as clearing the bush around the express and then going interior to actually examine what exactly is happening in all of this environment. And that was why in one piece I wrote recently, I made suggestions that, look, it will not cost too much for our states that are that are responsible for the areas along this route to put up something like area surveillance within the period in which we are ready to solve this problem. I believe that between Lagos and Ibadan Express, I do not think it would take an helicopter to travel more than, say, 20 minutes, right? For area surveillance, at least to a very large extent, you can see what is happening on the ground.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You see, when you
hopefully. I add the word hopefully. Because don't forget.
It will be difficult. Because of the forest canopy.
The canopy,
you see,
there.
If you look at the vegetative cover of the area around that Dominion University, downward and to the other side, there has this thick and broad forest vegetative cover, and it will be difficult. And that's the reason why you need ground intelligence.
Yeah, you see, a combination of ground and area surveillance. Let me give you an example. Something happened.
Sorry, sir.
Something happened.
Can I add something just before you go? Because in between you experts here, when we're watching films of law enforcement in other countries, we hear that if you like, let the foliage be what it is. Yeah. There are temperature sensors. So they can make a temperature portrait of you, and as you are running along, they are seeing you and they are telling you. That probably is going to be an add-on that we might not have bought. Or can we take it for?
I think
we take it for granted?
We should not underestimate the capacity of our ear power. You see, we need to understand.
But do we have the right tools?
You see, movies.
Because when they talk about
movies,
no, it's not movie.
I'm coming.
Documentaries, sir.
I'm coming.
Documentaries.
Yeah, documentaries. See, we need to understand that. When you see some things happen within the Amazon, let's say Amazon forest, and then you see them using such to trail the narcotic agents, majority of the people within that particular terrain are involved in the narcotic value chain. Okay. But we're talking about an area where we have our own people that are innocent people. What thermal imagery would do for you, it will show you, body heat.